Hey guys, Jay Knowlton here once again, and don't you love it when you have to refilm videos because you connect your microphone to the camera, it says it's connected to the camera, and then suddenly you realize it's not connected to the camera anymore. But I get messages every week in the fives and sixes. Basically one a day, whether it be on LinkedIn, on YouTube, or something like that, on Substack about whether, people can become an ALT in 2026, about whether they should become an ALT in 2026. And I have talked about being an ALT before. I'll be honest, I haven't been an ALT before. I worked in Iowa, then kindergarten, then international schools. However, I know enough about the system through osmosis of living in this country to know that no, I don't think you should be an ALT, with a caveat. Well, can you say a caveat if you're saying not to do something? However, actually, I might be appearing on a podcast in Japan soon talking about teaching in Japan. Just keep your eyes peeled, your ears opened, and your mouth aghast. So, basically, yeah, I get asked about whether it's a good idea to become an ALT. Now, it's getting more and more difficult to say, yeah, become an ALT, just do it, guys, because it's honestly getting very difficult to live on. And it's not just about the job being kind of being useless and mundane. It's the salary is basically at the bottom of rock, the rockiest of bottoms. I don't know how to emphasize that. Rock bottomist, the bottomiest of rocks. And it's kind of got to the point now where there's just no merit to doing it unless you have a lot of savings. That's the caveat. You basically, if you've got savings in your home country, if you've got like $5,000 saved from the US and you come here, you're going to be having quite a nice time if you just plan to stay for a year and then go back. It'll be pretty good for you. However, if you come here with nothing, and you live here for a year, there'll be another video talking about the hidden difficulties of this new ALT system mixed with visas and the current increase in prices of airplanes and stuff. I guess you can probably see where that's going. However, I found an ALT job position for basically the biggest ALT company in Japan. I'm connected to the recruiter on LinkedIn. He probably doesn't know I'm making this. I'm not going to say the name of the company, of course, but I'm kind of slandering what they do without using their names, their faces, or the company name. However, basically, this was a job ad. And to be honest, LinkedIn is probably the weirdest place to put this because if you're looking for ALT work on LinkedIn, it's kind of the wrong place. LinkedIn is where you should go to get out of the ALT biz. But I'm going to read out the job description, and I'm not going to do it in order because it's I'm going to put it on the screen anyway, so you're going to see it. But first of all, currently residing in Japan with a valid visa. So you have to be in Japan already to do this job, which is weird in itself. I'm going to skip the next bit for now, but you can already see it. Driving license required, whether it be a Japanese one. Actually, I only have a Japanese driving license or an international driving license, which means you have to drive for this job. Now, I'm going to emphasize all of this when we talk about the salary later. A bachelor's degree in any field, that's just because to get a visa in Japan, immigration only really accepts people who have got a university degree. That's why they say any field. It could be in like music, it could be in history, it could be in biological physics of the moon, it could be in anything. It could be David Beckham studies, just as long as you have a degree. But don't just get any degree just for the sake of coming to Japan, because you don't know what's going to happen in life. At least get a degree in something useful. And then we're going to move on to enrollment in the national insurance, which basically means Shakai Hoken. You have to have it. It's a legal requirement. It says position highlights. You have to have it. because of the hours worked and the salary made. You legally have to have it. So to put it as a highlight is a bit of a funny one. Basically, you pay half of the health insurance and the pension, and the company pays the other half. And then finally, assistance in obtaining a vehicle if required. Now, the if required part makes it sound like it's optional to get a vehicle. Actually, that's not true. The if required part basically means if you don't already have a vehicle, because you must already live in Japan, so you might already have a vehicle. Assistance in obtaining a vehicle means if you don't have one, they're going to help you get one. However, it means that you have to pay for it, because they don't say assistance in, buying the vehicle or paid for company car. It's basically they're going to find the job sites. They'll probably help with the registration, probably help with how to pay the taxes, and that's about it. So again, you have to already be in Japan. You have to have a driving license. You have to have a degree, and you have to have a vehicle. Annual salary, 2.4 to 3 million yen. That is a joke. Of course, that's kind of been the standard for a long time now. It's 2026. We're literally in the middle of a war. We're not, the world is. Prices are going up and up and up. Visa prices are going up and up and up. And it's just absolutely insane, because if you break it down, at a maximum, 250,000 yen a month. I was making that 13 years ago when I came to Japan, working only 3 to 4 hours a day, mind you. And at a minimum, 200,000 yen a month. Now, if you imagine 200,000 yen a month, maybe 30 to 40,000, maybe 30,000 ish gets taken for health insurance and pension, maybe a little bit more. Then you've got to put aside residence tax, and then a little bit for your visa renewals, and then your rent. Maybe it's 50,000 at a very low sum. You might only be left with 25,000 yen a week. You might only have 100,000 yen left a month, if you're lucky. And that's assuming you have no debt from your country. Student loans, if you're from the UK, probably won't matter, because you won't be working, you won't be making enough. I don't know about the US. If you got any credit card debt, you're going to be screwed. If you need to fly home after a year, good luck buying the airplane ticket back, because it's basically going to be a third of your annual income. It's getting that bad, after taxes and stuff, of course. And I did some calculations before, the failed video recording. But 200,000 yen a month divided by 160 hours. Now, I'm sure you probably won't be working 160 hours, but that's the standard working month in Japan. That's 1,250 yen a month. Now, just to note, the minimum wage in Japan in the lowest prefecture is 1,121 yen an hour, which means you are going to be making just 10%-ish more than the minimum salary. And now, just for fun, Maku no Jikyu. So that's the McDonald's monthly, the hourly rate at McDonald's. McDonald's pays between 1,000 to 1,300 yen an hour. So there's potentially people who are making more at McDonald's than you are. And now, I'm not going to say that people working at McDonald's are low skilled or anything. What I'm saying is the barriers to become an ALT are so high that why would you ever do it if McDonald's was an option? Now, it doesn't equate 100% because you can't come to Japan and work at McDonald's, but it's just a weird thing that exists. Imagine going through 4 years of school just to make 10% more than Japan's minimum salary, which is going to be way less than your own country's minimum salary. And the reason why I really emphasize how bad it is now is because I looked at flying to the UK. And actually, my mum is coming to Japan at Christmas. Her ticket to Japan was about 300,000 yen. Of course, that's a return. So even if we put it at 150,000, you are going to have to put aside 10% of your post tax income if you want to fly back home. So you can forget about savings. You can forget about putting anything for travel or trips. It's just not going to work. And the reason why these companies can get away with it now is because most of the people coming in aren't Western native English speakers anymore. And to be honest, it's not even fair to be like, oh, it's people from the Philippines, it's people from India, because those people usually still have remittances to their family back home. So they're going to be struggling as well because they will be sending a good portion. I've worked with a lot of great Filipino teachers who do send a lot of money back to make sure their family are okay. They're going to be left with almost nothing. And it's so unfair that that is the system, but at the same time the ALT role is such an unnecessary role. It's such a bizarre situation, and I'm wondering when the breaking point's going to be where they either say, actually, this ALT system's just not working anymore. But yeah, guys, that was just kind of a breakdown of a job offer I saw. Let me know what you think. Please subscribe. We're almost back to 5,000 subscribers after I took my hiatus like a decade ago. But yeah, thanks all for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time.